Thanks, Dan. Okay, guys, you've built your website, and that's where the hard work finishes, right? I'm sorry, but as a marketer, I'm here to tell you that this is where the hard work really begins, but also where the fun begins too. So you've got a website. What are you going to do with it? How are you going to make it work for you? My name's Erin Hoy, and I'm a strategic marketing specialist with WP Updoot. And what I'm going to be taking you through today is getting ready to launch your website, the tips, tricks, and strategies to getting ready for launch and ongoing promotion. Now, first, what I want to do is I want to share with you what are the two biggest mistakes that people make when they build a new website. And I've seen it again and again in my 20 plus years of doing marketing. What's the biggest mistake that people make? Build it and they will come. So many people, they put in the time, the effort, unbelievable amounts of money. They build their website, they stick it out of the internet, they sit back and they wait for the money to come rolling in. I'm sorry, that's not how the internet works. And like everything in life, you get out of it what you put in. On the other end of the spectrum, do all the things. Sometimes people, they get so excited that they try to do everything at once. They go off and they try to do every fancy thing. They sign up to every expensive, fancy program under the sun that promises the world. Look, don't do all the things. Start with the basics and work your way up from there. And that's what I'm going to take you through today. I'm going to take you through how to get ready for your website and the correct cadence for actually setting yourself up for success. And I'll be honest with you, it's actually pretty straightforward, but you'd be surprised how many people leave out a lot of these steps. 1, get the basic right and build yourself a strong foundation on which to build. 2, evaluate what's working, see which of your strategies are actually having the biggest impact. Then amplify what's working, do more of what's working and do less of what's not working. And finally, give it time. Marketing is a marathon. It's not a sprint. Too often I see people, they try something and they wait a day, a week, even a month. They go, oh, it's not working. And they move on and they try something new. You've got to give these things time. A lot of these strategies are actually a long burn. They're a slow burn. And you've got to give them time to work. Right. So what are we going to be covering in today's session? We're going to go through getting the basics right. Before launch, creating a launch plan, and having content ready to go for at least a month. We're going to go through soft launch, giving your visitors a way to sign up to your email list. Now, you may notice a little asterisk at the end of this. Anything that has the asterisk at the end of the dot point is something that I am aware that you have not covered in this free course. However, is going to be covered in the masterclass, but I'll also give you a few tips along the way of which one of these things you can actually maybe go away and research yourself. Getting feedback from a trusted source, which I hope you are all already doing. Setting up online alerts for your business name, installing Google Analytics, learning the basics of SEO, and submitting your sitemap to search engines. Then we're going to go through hard launch, and I'm going to cover some key points. Leveraging the avenues you already have in place, the importance of email marketing, submitting to online directories and vertical portals, and claiming your local listings. Then we'll move on to promoting your website, incentives, and spreading the word. Right. First of all, let's go through creating your launch plan. This is really important, and trust me, it's going to make your life so much easier. Without a launch plan, you're publishing content for nobody. What you're going to want to cover is what are the goals you want to achieve with your website? What steps do you need to take to achieve those goals? When do you need to complete them by? How will you measure success? Remember, I talked about the importance of evaluation. And you're going to want to pick a day to launch and spread the word. Trust me, putting this very, very basic plan in place is going to save you a lot of stress, going to keep you on track, and it's going to make sure you set yourself up for success. All right. What you're going to want to do next is make sure you've got plenty of content for your visitors to your website to consume. And you're going to want to have that content ready to go. Now, content is not just for blogs. So many people think that it's all about blogs. It's not. It's about all of the content on your website that people can consume, that they'll find engaging, will actually set you up as a thought leader or as an expert in the field, or just giving them the kind of customers, the kind of information they need to know to make a decision. Now, if you are interested in blogs, that is something that is going to be covered in the masterclass. But if not, the rest of these tips absolutely still apply. What you want to do is aim to have multiple pieces of high value content ready for your customers to consume on launch day and post launch day. You're going to want to create goal-driven content. Now, what does that mean? Give every page you write a specific goal and let your content reflect that goal. You're going to want to keep your content short and simple. People do not want to read War and Peace on the internet. They'll get bored very, very quickly. But at the same time, don't make it all about you. Don't make it too salesy. Make sure that the content that you're creating creates value for the customer and is of interest to your customers. You're going to want to stack up your site with a few articles. I would suggest creating at least 3 to 5 pieces of high quality content and choose topics that you know really, really well. Look, just talk to what you know. Let people know that you know your stuff. Don't pull your hair out trying to write content about things that you know nothing about, because chances are it's not going to be relevant to your business or your customers either. And finally, have a content plan. This is separate to your launch plan, but it can be part of it. Map out all the content that you want to create, what you want it to achieve, and how long you want it to be. Now we're going to move on to soft launch. And as I mentioned before, this is where most of you should already be. Your website should already be up and a few people should have been told about it. Now, one of the things I mentioned is actually having an email list sign up. This can actually be a really great way to capture visitors to your site and potential customers' email addresses so that you can engage with them and you can promote your services later on. Now, one of the things you'll need here is an email sign up form. Now, this has not been covered in the free course. It will be covered in the masterclass, but it's also something that you could maybe set up yourself. I would recommend connecting your website up with a free service such as MailChimp to capture those email addresses and also to then promote those emails to those people after the fact. In order to encourage people to sign up to your mailing list, you might want to offer an incentive. Now, this could be a free ebook or a guide. It could be offering a percentage off their first purchase. It could be creating some kind of exclusivity or fear of loss around it. The options are endless, but quite often if you give people a reason to sign up to your mailing list, the chances of them doing so is actually much, much higher. All right, now this is something I hope you've already gotten. That's been getting feedback from a trusted source. So friends and family are a great source for this because they're going to give you tough love. You can say to them, look, I want the good, the bad, and the ugly. Give it to me straight, because this is the chance for you to be improving your website now before hard launch and before you spent a lot of money promoting your site. You can also, I suggest, talking to long-term and trusted customers. Now, this can be really, really good because they know what they want and what they would be looking for on your site, and ask them if they can find it. Ask them for any feedback. More often than not, they'll be more than happy to help and give you some suggestions on how you can improve your site. Online alerts. Now, a lot of people forget about this, but it can be really powerful, particularly if you want to measure your brand awareness and your brand positioning. If you want to see or be alerted if you're getting any mentions in other people's blogs or in the media, you can sign up for Google Alerts. It's absolutely free and you can get those notifications into your email. If you would like to see if you're getting any mentions on social media, you might try Mention or Hootsuite. Okay, given the time and effort you're going to put into promoting and building your website, it's going to be really important that you know how much traffic you're receiving, where that traffic is coming from, and that's where Google Analytics comes into play. Now, this is not something that's been covered in the free course, that will be covered in the masterclass. And if nothing else that I talk about today, this is the thing that I would recommend that you do. One, you're going to want to know how much traffic is coming to your site. If you're doing promotions, whether they be paid or in kind or free, and you don't know how much traffic's coming to your website, how are you going to know if they've been successful? You're also going to want to know where that traffic is coming from. Remember how I talked about evaluating and then scaling up what's working? Well, this is where that comes into play. You know where to put your time, where to put your money, and where to put your effort. And you're going to want to know how long people are staying on your site. Now, you'll recall the compelling, goal-driven content that I spoke about before. This is how you can tell how well that's working. How long people are staying on your page could indicate that how long they're reading it, that they're engaging with it. If they're not staying on the page very long, it could mean that they're not finding it useful or they're not finding it engaging. Or it could mean that what they've clicked on to get that page has misrepresented what that page is about or what they thought that page is about. And this gives you the opportunity to adjust, tweak, and improve your content and what's on your page all the time to improve the amount of time and stickiness of that page. Another thing that Google Analytics is going to tell you is the bounce rate. Now, what's the bounce rate? That's how long people are staying on your site before, boing, they bounce straight back off it. You want your site to be as sticky as possible, and you want your bounce rate to be really, really low. You want to know which of your pages are most likely to send people flinging off in the other direction rather than keeping them on your page, engaged, and either purchasing or talking to you in some way. And there are so many other things that Google Analytics does for you and insights it can give you that I won't go into now, but it's certainly worth you doing a little bit of research into that yourselves. Okay, SEO. Now, I know a lot of people think that SEO is this black mystical art and they'll never understand, but you actually don't need to be an SEO expert to start ranking better on search engines. So all you need to know is the basics of SEO, because you'd be amazed at how many people just don't bother. And anything you do is actually going to put you a step ahead of people who aren't doing anything at all. Okay, use your keywords. These are the words and phrases you want to rank for, and they're the sorts of keywords and phrases that people looking for your product or services are going to be looking for. So you're going to want to use those in strategic areas of your page, not just the content on your page. You want them in your navigation bar, in your title tags, in your meta descriptions, in your header tags, and you want to have them in your image tags as well. Anywhere you can put those keywords in, you want to have them in, but they also need to be in there natural. Google is getting very, very smart at notice when you're keyword loading. So what you want to do is use them in a natural way, but use them as many different places as possible. You're going to want to consistently add original content. I keep coming back to that, having content ready to go, don't I? When you are adding content all the time to your website, search engines, they like that. They actually show that you're active and that you're relevant, and they will reward you accordingly with your ranking. You're going to want to build links to your site. Nothing tells Google that you are a relevant site than other sites linking to you. And don't forget the importance of your internal links. The more links you have on your website to other pages, the more you're indicating to search engines that the information on that page is particularly relevant and important. What you're going to want to do is make sure that your URLs uses words instead of numbers or symbols. Now, there are lots of plugins with WordPress that will help you with these basics of SEO. You don't need to know it all. One of the plugins that I particularly like is Yoast SEO, and I like that because not only does it tell you where to put things in, it also gives you lots of tips and tricks on how to improve your SEO, your keywords, all those sorts of things. Now, that's also the plugin that Dan will be covering in the masterclass, and he'll be going through how to install and configure Yoast SEO for optimization on search engines and also improved social appearance on your social media channels. So if you are doing the masterclass, that is a particular lesson not to miss. Okay, so we've covered a lot of information so far, and I know it's a lot to take in. So what I'm going to suggest we do is we take a break. You go away, you go back over the points I've covered, maybe get a pencil out and start writing down some ideas while they're fresh, and then come back and join me for part 2. There's still lots to cover.